Well, welcome back to Manfield Circuit Chris Amon, where we're enjoying the first day of action at the third round of the 2025 Castrol Toyota Formula Regional Oceania Championship. We've had one race, one qualifying session, one race, and we're joined by the top three from this afternoon's first encounter, 22-lapper. First was Arvid Lindblad for M2 competition. Teammate Nikita Johnson was second and promoted to third fairly late in the day after the third place guy on the road, Josh Pearson, was docked 5 seconds for not leaving enough room on a pass. His first time on the podium in this championship, Patrick Hoytson-Roeder of MTech. Arvid, let's start with you. It's an interesting race, and the question I've got for you, you took the lead, you built a slight lead over the lap 2, 3, 4 and 5, but then a series of laps all the way to the end that were within a tenth and a half, absolutely annihilated the field behind you. Was that your best race so far in the championship?
Yeah, I think you could say so, yeah. It's probably the race I've been happiest. I think another one I was really happy was race 2 in Hamptons, but the rest is I've not been super happy with the feeling. But yeah, today it felt good and starting in the lead and was just able to build the gap.
I think it's great that you're a perfectionist and you're chasing the best feeling in the car and the best setup for the car. But you were a little way off that, I think, Thursday and Friday. But you and the team have absolutely nailed it today. That's quite a turnaround.
Yeah, I wasn't very happy on Thursday, and even particularly yesterday as well. But yeah, credit to the team. We were able to turn it around and be really, really strong today.
At Hampton Downs in the reverse, you were the guy who was most on the move. You were able to make passes. Given Zach, who's your nearest championship challenger, is on pole tomorrow for the reverse top 10, how are you going to approach that? Does that change your mindset going into it? Will it full attack again like at Hampton Downs?
Yeah, no, to be honest, I don't really care that he's on pole. I don't know, good for him that he's in a good position, but I want to go forward and I'm looking forward to hopefully making some moves.
Harder to do that here than Hampton Downs, the nature of the track?
I don't know, to be honest. I thought it might be easier, but based on today, it wasn't easy to pass. So we'll see. I think the pace was strong today. So if I have good speed tomorrow, that will obviously help, and then we'll see.
John?
Yeah. Arvid, without basically getting to the halfway point, and having done this championship a few times and talking to guys like yourself, you're all fit, but the mental struggle of having to take on so much information and data, new tracks, different car, it's quite a lot. How are you dealing with that? And are you finding that's a harder thing than a normal season?
Yeah, it definitely is intense for sure. Because it's a lot of driving on the weekends. So it is quite mentally tiring. And I think it's really important on the days off to try to switch off and disconnect. I'm still doing okay, but I'm definitely not quite as fresh as I was in Taupo, just because, yeah, like you said, mentally it's a lot of information, it's a lot of driving. So, yeah, going to try and take it easy this evening to come back fresh tomorrow and then enjoy the days off. I think we're going to Queenstown before Taratanga.
You alluded before to the fact that you kind of wanted to tick a number of boxes on Thursday, change a number of things. Can you, broadly speaking, give a sense of what that was? And was the car today exactly as you wanted it, or are you still, now that you've had a little bit of time, thinking, I need a bit more of that or less of this and so on?
I think we got it pretty nailed in the race. Quali still wasn't amazing. In the end, there was a feeling that I've kind of been chasing all week that we were never really able to get. And today we're able to sort of fix it in a secondary way, which isn't the optimal, but we're able to sort of get somewhat that feeling that I wanted. So I think part of that's also just such low grip. But yeah, we were able to sort of get on top of it today. So looking forward to hopefully having that again in Q2, and then we'll see in the races.
Cool. Just one final question before we go back to Richard. A couple of young fans, we saw that at Topor have come up and spoken with you and with more than that with the drivers. Are you all super impressed at the reaction that we're getting with that next wave, that next generation of fans? I think even today a couple of them came up and wanted to know a bit more about you, and I think the reaction like that in that younger wave of fans has been terrific, hasn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I've been quite impressed with the sort of attendance that there's been and the crowds and the number of fans. And I think it's great, and credit to the championship for being able to to attract a lot of people. I mean, this weekend there's not many categories. I think it's really just us and maybe one other, which is sort of different to Hamptons and Topor. But it's still great they're able to have quite a few people here, and they're able to enjoy the racing.
Cool. Moving to Nikita. Nikita, there was plenty for us to watch on that first lap. You had probably the best view in the house. Talk us through it.
So the start was not amazing. I mean, I had a pretty good reaction time, but then the second phase just bogged down a little bit. I just released the clutch too fast, but after that, I just had to go get second back from, I think it was Smith next to me. I'm not exactly sure, but I had to go get second back. And then after that, I was just trying to keep Josh and Smith behind me so that, they wouldn't overtake me, because once you get past the first 2 laps, it's very hard to pass here.
How quickly did your attention switch from attacking Arvid to sort of defending from Josh behind you?
Pretty fast. I think about turn 3-5. Once there was a car length or 2 between me and Arvid, I think the biggest focus was keeping the guys out back behind me in enough distance.
Arvid talked about the physical demands of the 2-day gap between each full race weekend. How are you coping with that?
For the physical demands, I mean, it's not the hardest thing I've driven, in my opinion. So it's been pretty good for me. It's more the mental side of it, where you're on the road, you're 5 weeks away from home, you're in a different hotel every single weekend, and there's so much information that you have to think about every weekend. So I would say it's more on the mental side than physical side.
Do you have any time as you go through a championship like this to absorb the historical significance of the trophies or the circuits which you're racing on, or is that something you're going to sort of look back on a bit later?
I think that's something you have to look back on later. I mean, as soon as race 3 is finished, you go and start preparing for the next weekend. It's just it's almost like a light switch. Once the weekend's done, you go prepare for the next round.
Nikita, you've raced in different championships, especially last year. Is this the prep you wanted for GB3 ahead?
Yes, I think this is a prep that I needed last year for the pro season and the remaining half of the GB3 season that I did last year. So I'm very happy to be down here, and I think there's a lot of great racing, and I'm learning a lot with the different car and different tire size, which I'm pretty sure that we'll have the size in the GB3, maybe a little bit larger, but it just gets me used to these tires.
I think I said to you in Victory Lane, congratulations on the podium. That's great. In the hour or 90 minutes between then and the press conference, what sort of things have you spoken with the team about in terms of wanting from the car for Sunday here at Manfield after that first race?
It's kind of a hard one, but I think the biggest thing is driving. Just the car was pretty spot on in race. I think we need to focus a little bit more on qualifying because it's such a tight top 10. I was looking at it today, 5th to 6th to 12th is about 1/10. They're all in the 104.0. So I think the primary focus is qualifying, not the race, because we know we have good race pace with the car, and just have to fine tune a little points on the driving side.
Patrick, for the folks watching, you started, I think, 6th on the grid today, 3rd row, but you ended up 3rd, but you finished, I think, 4th on the road. But those first couple of laps were pretty busy for you. Is that the best opportunity during the race to make up spaces for those that don't know really the nature of junior Formula racing?
Yeah, I think especially at a track like this, after lap 2, if you get to lap 2, and you're still having a battle after that, it's pretty much follow the person in front of you. I think it's very similar to all of the tracks we've been to, where it's, the first 2 or 3 laps you can have your battles, settles down a little bit and maybe get a little bit towards the end. But I think, it just highlights the importance of qualifying and then making sure you're on the move in the first lap.
So is the mental approach different in that first period of the race where things are up for grabs? Do you go into it, right, first couple of laps, I've got to really try and make up as much as I can and then settle down? So is it a different approach at the start?
Yeah, I mean, for sure, your elbow's out at the start. You don't want people coming past you. It's all about getting a good start off the line first. It's your focus on that, and then you switch your focus to turn 1. Where are the gaps? Where can I place my car to get past or get an advantage on the people around you?
We talked last night in the hot seat. You've got David Brabham, one of the all-time most experienced and successful racers in the sport, as your right-hand man through at least the first phase of this championship. How helpful has having a guy like that been to you so far?
Yeah, I mean, extremely helpful. He did the TRS series when it was called TRS many years ago. So he's got a bit of insight into that. but also just that, like the boys have talked about, the mental side of things between, 2 days off to then get to the next track he's been a great help.
Patrick, what's your plan after the 5 weeks? Same question to Nikita. And is this what you needed to get you sharp for that?
Yeah, I'm looking to get back over to Europe or the UK at the moment, sort of just trying to sort things out. But 100%, it was also David's recommendation to come and do this series down here. We know how competitive it is, good tracks, good cars, nice consistency run by Toyota. So it's definitely a great championship. You get 10 qualifying sessions, you get 15 races before then you start your main campaign in 2025. So definitely been valuable so far, and we still got another 2.5 rounds to go.
Just to kind of extend Jonathan's question there, how much does today help in that regard? Are you close to something for 2025? And it would have been nice for you to be in Victory Lane there. I mean, it's great that you're here for the press conference, but I'm sure part of you would love to have been down there as well. Yeah,
well, hopefully I'll get down there later this weekend. Yeah, I've got a few things in the works, so hopefully that gets out about soon. But yeah, for now we're still trying to sort things out, and obviously my focus is on this because I've got to finish this championship before I start the next one. So yeah, looking forward to giving this a good hot crack.
Well, a long hot day, boys. We'll let you get back to cooling off. We'll be back tomorrow with qualifying 2 in the morning for the Dan Higgins feature race in the afternoon, and the second race, which is the reverse top 8 grid, where these 3 guys will start 6th, 7th and 8th.